Hi everyone, I'm Auman from Crafting an MBA. And today I want to share with you 4 lessons that you can take from Missoni Mania. So it's been a little over 2 weeks since the Missoni for Target line launched in Target stores nationwide. And if your Target store looks anything like mine, there's almost no evidence left that there ever was a Missoni line at Target. That's because this was probably one of the most successful collection launches in Target's history. Stores were sold out in a matter of days. The demand for the product crashed Target's website the day it launched. They opened up a pop-up shop in New York City. They expected it to be open for 3 days. It sold out in 6 hours. So by all accounts, this was a super successful product launch. And I think there are some lessons that we can take from it. So the first one is that branding matters. Sometimes I think with this down economy, people like to talk about, branding doesn't matter, you have to compete on other features, but I think that this just proved that people are still committed to brands. And when you have a brand with a strong presence like Missoni, people are going to react when they put the brand into, a different circumstance. So if you aren't spending some time really strengthening your brand, that's the first lesson. Of course, it's going to take you a few years or maybe a few decades to get to, the level of brand recognition that Missoni has, but that doesn't mean that you can't strive for that sense of branding. I think the second key takeaway is that it's important to create some buzz before a product launches. Now, I've talked here before on Crafting an MBA about the importance of making a product launch into an event and really creating some buzz around it. But what Target did so well is they created so much buzz before the products hit stores. They ran a few well-placed TV ads, but for the most part, this was word of mouth buzz. They figured out how to get their biggest fans and also the biggest fans of Missoni and design and fashion. They figured out how to get those people talking. So as you've got a new product launch coming up, what can you do to generate some buzz beforehand? Sure, maybe it won't be on the scale of the Missoni for Target launch, but what can you do, through teasers, through sneak peeks, just through getting the word out on your Twitter feed, your Facebook, your email list. You do have that email list, right? Getting people excited so that when launch day comes, not only are they ready for it, but they're excited and they want to, jump in and get the product. And I think this is the third key takeaway that, we can get from this Missoni for Target launch is that you can use, a limited demand to create a sense of urgency for consumers. Last week I was at a conference and I had the pleasure of hearing the CEO of CustomMade.com talk, and he shared his 4 keys for a successful e-commerce business. And those were exclusivity, curation, a sense of urgency, and good customer service. And that sense of urgency is really something that Target did really well with the Missoni launch. They didn't create the sense of urgency by saying, we're only going to leave the products up for a couple of days, or we're only going to make this available for a week. It wasn't that kind of daily deal sense of urgency. Instead, people knew that there was only going to be so much product. And in doing that, Target really created this sense of urgency, and everyone was like, I have to buy now, I have to buy now, I have to get the stuff before it's gone. Now with that said, I think the 4th thing that we can take away is actually a mistake that I think that Target made. While I think they did everything right, I actually think that by not having the supply to meet the demand, and that's the last key takeaway, when you've built great demand, you have to make sure you have the supply to back it up. I actually think that by not having the supply to meet demand, Target left a lot of money on the table with what happened here. I think they could have still had the great buzz, the great sense of urgency. Obviously, they were pulling from a classic brand with probably double the inventory and still sold out in a really short amount of time. So it is really important to know that if you're getting all your ducks in a row and you've got the right buzz and you've got people excited about it, make sure that you do have the supply to match the demand, because as we all know, that buzz, that excitement about your product launch, it doesn't last forever. And there's nothing worse than leaving money on the table because you just couldn't meet people's needs right when they wanted your product. So, as we head into the Christmas shopping season, I think that's something really important to think about. If you've done your job generating your buzz, getting your product out there, make sure that you've got the supply in place to match that. So, whether you made it to Target or not to scoop up some Missoni products, I think there's a lot that we can all take from that launch. I think it's a great case study, and I hope you'll go out and apply some of the things that I've talked about today for your business. Until next time, this is Megan Auman from Crafting an MBA, saying thanks for watching.